alleging that Wendy Williams is going to be writing a tell-all book in regards to Diddy and his escapade. Jaguar Wright said on a recent YouTube video that Diddy is not only in London but in hospital and that Bat is worn out.
Reasonable doubt more than me.
At the time
Nobody. No, still.
Yes, to this day.
Still. Listen to me. I don't give a how I feel about you. For me to have bad feelings about someone and not acknowledge art and its greatness or at its finest is hating.
In California, when Mace went to basketball game, they told him, we want Puff. I believe that women have been coming out, but nobody was listening. You understand? Nobody wanted to. I seen Trump, Diddy, Al Sharpton, and Wendy Williams in the same room having a conversation together.
Hold on to your wigs, because it's getting really hot outside and people on the streets are claiming that Diddy is actually having some major problems. We're talking about hospitalization and pleading for mercy in jail. Yes, the artist who has been at the top of his game for decades is now asking for a break. This story is wilder than your last Friday night when Diddy got jumped into the hospital and begged for mercy. It sounds like a plot twist from a juicy reality show, but it's real life, honey, and we're about to spill all the tea on what really happened to Diddy and why he's suddenly singing a different song. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
And they're eating on her while she was asleep. You know, snacking on his bitch, killing people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within the week?
And no, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So, let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys
and get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody up just so he couldn't have a good night. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. Oof. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestseller.
Okay, everything, let's get down to the details of what transpired with our friend Diddy. The streets are a flurry of activity as people attempt to understand how the powerful have fallen. So what exactly happened to send Sean Combs to the hospital, where he is pleading for forgiveness? Word on the street is that Diddy was out at a classy La nightclub doing his thing when things took a wild turn. It seems he got into a heated argument with some unknown people, who may be rival musicians or even some old enemies we don't know about yet, but chilly. It didn't end with just words, though. The next thing you know, Diddy's security team lost track of him for a hot minute, and that's when it all went down. Sources claim Diddy was cornered in a back alley behind a club. This wasn't just a little brawl. Multiple attackers were attacking him as if he owed them money or something. Diddy suffered some serious injuries, including bruised ribs, a black eye, and possibly some broken bones. There are numerous possibilities being circulated by the rumor mill. Some people claim it's related to the recent litigation he's been involved in, the ones where he's been charged with some pretty terrible things, while others are suspecting that it could be retaliation from a person in the music industry he's crossed paths with over the years. Lady, you know Diddy's made his fair share of enemies ascending that music mountain. Perhaps someone felt it was time for a little retaliation, or perhaps it's something else different. A transaction gone awry or even a personal grudge we're yet unaware of.
That's this lawsuit, right? Little Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher's name redacted, you could tell who it is because they described him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows, the white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Whatever the reason, it's clear that Diddy's in a world of hurt right now. The hospital ain't exactly Syro and caviar, you feel me? And from what we're hearing, he's not just hurting physically. This whole incident has shaken him up. Something fierce. People close to the situation are saying Diddy's been uncharacteristically quiet since he was admitted. No social media posts, no public statements, just silence. And that's not like the Diddy we know, always ready with a slick comment or a boss move. And instead, we're hearing whispers that he's been asking for protection, practically begging for mercy from whoever's got it out for him. It's like he's scared that this might just be the beginning of something bigger. And honestly, that's got a lot of people worried, because if someone can get to Diddy like this, who's safe in the industry. So here we are with more questions than answers. Who jumped Diddy? Why did they do it? And most importantly, what's going to happen next? Because you know this story ain't over yet, honey. The game's changed, and Diddy is playing defense for maybe the first time in his life. Stay tuned, cause this tea is far from complete. The brewing
Ain't the Puff. Puff had different phases of his life that y'all don't understand. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. You understand? First you got Puff Daddy, who had Daddy's house and the parties and things like that. Then you had Puff. You understand? Then you had Diddy. Then you had Brother Love, and then Love. I had Puff around the stage when he was Puff Daddy and Puff and some of Diddy. Not the new Diddy that they gave the diddler and everything like that. So he ain't the guy, he wasn't the guy that y'all see now back then when he was in Harlem. You understand? He was the guy that our crew chased down the street because he was trying to be a part of it, and he ran. You understand? We brought him back, beat the shit out of him, hit him in the head with cake spoon, with champagne and all the other shit like that. He was wanted to be a part of us. He was the one who used to beg, don't go to the party, please, I'm on my way, so he could walk in the club with us. I learned from his pop from one of the biggest gangsters in Harlem, New York Freddie, right? The police said they went to New York Freddie house in Mount Vernon, and he had stacks of $100 bills 6 feet high in the whole basement. That's how much money he had. He was the one who started Russell Simmons. They won't tell y'all this story. He was the one who started Russell Simmons and them into the music business because he had a record label first that Russell Simmons used to work for. So now, New York Freddie want to talk to Big Gene. One of his lieutenants back in the day, if you see his story, his name was Omar. Omar was our OG from 112th Street, 114th Street. They used to come around with us. They used to love the food I used to cook because I'm a hell of a cook. You know what I'm saying? So now, Omar said, yo, New York Freddie want to talk to you, Gene. I told him he used to bodyguard Puff because he want to talk to Puff and tell Puff the real story about his father. So I said, yeah, all right. So I'm like, New York Freddie. I knew my history. I knew what New York Freddie was about. So I went and took a meeting with New York Freddie. He said, New York Freddie said to me, he said, yo, man, I've been trying to get in touch with Puff. Russell Simmons, none of them would take my calls. It's all good. He said, I want to tell Puff the true story about his father. And I said, yo, all right, okay, you know what's up. You're gonna listen to those guys. You understand? So New York Freddie said, Puff father sold some drugs to one of their undercover guys. You understand? They arrested him. But they had cops on the payroll to, you know, see what you about. He said they brought him the tape and the written confection that Puff father signed. So I was like, yo, he said, we gave him $10,000. It was a New York City cop. He worked for them. He said, we gave him $10,000. Puff father said that he only told because he had a wedding to go to, which I thought was hilarious. You understand? This is coming from New York Freddie. So he said that I wanted to talk to Puff, but he wouldn't take my calls, he wouldn't see me. He said, I want to let him know that I told the guy, y'all got to get rid of him.
You know, lady, that Diddy has always led an extravagant life, but as of late, the man has been in more hot water than a tea bag. Let's go back in time and discuss why Diddy the music mogul has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Remember when Diddy was all about the beat and the bling? Those days are long gone, honey. The streets are saying that his empire is starting to fall apart, and it's not just because of his fashion choices. There have been serious allegations of abuse and other wild things, and after all this drama with his ex Cassie, the internet was going crazy. Just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, more women began to come forward with their own stories. Fans have been poking around Diddy's businesses and let's simply say they aren't there for the Syra. It's like opening Pandora's box, only instead of hope it's full of scandals. But wait, there's more. Diddy has been caught up in some legal drama that has nothing to do with his love life. We're talking lawsuits, investigations, and enough paperwork to wallpaper a mansion. People are staring at Diddy strangely because of all this trouble. You know how it goes. One day you're the biggest thing in the world, and the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. His reputation has suffered more blows than a boxing club punching bag, and let's not even discuss the damage this is doing to his business. Brands are bailing out faster than you can say, bad boy for life. It's like witnessing a slow-motion car wreck only with designer labels and multi-million-dollar contracts.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
This is a game we in. We in a fucking hustle. We in a grind. Everybody ain't 50 Cent. Everybody ain't Puff. Everybody ain't Jay-Z. You gotta stick with a nigga. Grind with a nigga. You gotta do your job. Whatever your record is, if I was a promo man, whatever record you give me, I'ma get played. Cause my tongue gonna move that quick. I'ma get the shit done whether niggas like it, love it, hate it.
Monster. At this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Dupree, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling.
The people of Chell have been having a field day. Social media has been taking over like Times Square on New Year's Eve, with everyone and their mother weighing in. Some people are shocked, while others claim to have seen it coming, and still others are just in it for the drama. However, the truth is that all of this controversy may be the reason Diddy is currently in the hospital, pleading for mercy. It seems as though he has sent out invitations to his own takedown party. Is Kara here to pick him up from the streets, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? One thing is certain, Diddy's fall from grace is a complete collapse into the Hollywood Hills, not just a misstep.
You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no fuck. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come.
So let me ask you, because I look at Gabriel Union, and when you mention things like Jay-Z's time is coming for him, then I look at Beyonce. And I say that, women do have a...
That country album, and any of you that buy that shit, stupid as shit.
You don't give it no
trap
credit.
music with goddamn a holster and a pad.
But she remade Jolene.
That bitch. I'm gonna tell you the song she should have remade. It's a hit. It would have done great for her. She should have tried it out. Tammy Wynette. Classic. Stand by your man. Don't act like you don't know that now. Remake that. Stand by that. That's a real country hit. Jolene, nice. But it has a ring to it. Stand by your man. Yeah. Whoops. And disrespect you with other like Kathy Coriana White.
All right, well, let's do it like
who was
this.
actually carrying his baby while you was faking it. Why your husband don't want to put his seed inside of you? He put it in everybody else? Wild in this world, yo.
It's funny, you open up Beyonce's internet, it just gets weird.
Beyonce's internet.
That's what we're calling
That
it.
belongs to the devil. Unless you calling that the devil, she ain't nothing but an employee.
Oh.
And half of which dumbass bitch.
So, you know, it's funny that it's crazy you say these things.
Why don't nobody want to accept that bitch?
I think
she went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was drugged.
Here's the thing. You thought we were done with the tea, honey. We're just getting started. Let's speak about D, which is more juicy than a peach in August. Streets reports state that Diddy, who used to dominate the music industry, is now running the show. Our son is pleading for mercy while in the hospital, looking like he just finished 10 rounds with a bulldozer. Fear not, Diddy is reaching out to everyone he knows in an attempt to patch things up. It feels like he's playing a game of who wants to be Diddy's friend, but nobody is pressing the buzzer, so you might be wondering who he's pleading with to chill. A lengthy list includes former business partners, competing music executives, and even some of his former employees. The man is making more calls than a commission-based telemarketer. It seems as though he is attempting to reconcile every disagreement he has ever had at once. However, the truth is that improving the streets isn't the only goal. Whispering that Diddy is running about trying to purchase some protection, offering deals money, whatever it takes to keep him safe, and let's not forget about his public image. He's afraid for his life, believing that whoever jumped him would return for round 2, and he's ready for that smoke. That thing is more brittle than a house of cards and a hurricane at the moment. Whenever Diddy's name appears in the media, it's always drama and scandal. Now, he's pleading with PR firms to save his collapsing reputation as if it were his own life or death.
And guess what? They wouldn't give her a restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who the fuck goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within a week?
And no, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So, let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys
and get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody to him up just so he couldn't have a good night. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo.
Oof.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
The million-dollar question is, however, is it too little, too late? The music industry isn't exactly known for its forgiveness, and despite all of the accusations circling, some people are saying Diddy is getting exactly what he deserves. Still, you can't help but wonder what this means for Diddy's career. The man has been so successful for so long that it's difficult to imagine him anywhere else. But with all of this mess in chow, he might have to trade in his designer suits for a regular 9-to-5 if he isn't careful. And let's not forget about the consequences. Hot brands are dropping him like a hot potato. His business dealings are drying up like a puddle in the desert. And his fancy parties are forgetting him. We are watching Diddy because no one is attempting to be seen with him at the moment, unless they want to lose their own reputation. Go from "can't nobody hold me down" to "someone please help me up." It's been quite the journey, and at this point, all of us are just spectators. Will Diddy's desperation make him work, or is this the end for him? One thing is certain, the streets are watching, and they haven't forgotten a thing.
Man, you heard about these radio stations? They not even playing Diddy music no more, yo.
Because you got to realize this, man. People that advertise, they don't want to be a part of something that may have been sex trafficking, pedophilia. They didn't say anything about pedophilia, thank God. But with this sex trafficking, this Me Too shit, the advertisers don't want their advertisement in those slots where his music play. Remember when they took all Bill Cosby, the Huxtables off the air? Now all of a sudden it comes back on the air. It's the same thing. They don't want his music to play in the same time slot that they're doing advertisement in. So what they do, they take it off the air. It's a damn shame that his name will go down as the laughingstock of hip hop. That's probably one of the worst. I can't say anybody who have fell from grace. Even though if he don't lose all his money and everything like that, his fall from grace will be harder than anybody we would know in hip hop. Anybody we've known in hip hop, his fall from grace will be worse than anybody. Because he would be the laughing stock. And everybody would be doing comedy skits. And you gotta realize, even before all that shit started, Dave Chappelle was one of the best who did them.
Yeah, unfortunate, man. I just feel bad for all the artists that made timeless records over there, man. They gotta, get punished in a sense.
He knew it was coming down the thing. That's why he gave them their publishing. My man, listen to me, bro. What happens is this, bro. All these big companies, and this happened to athletes also, they have investigators. These investigators are paid to investigate you whether you're doing something or not. Do you understand that? The NBA have investigators on players, whether they doing something or not, and they report back to the commissioner. Hey, was seen at this club, and they were doing this and doing this and doing that, and you don't even know you're being investigated for nothing. But that's what they paid to do. These companies who give Diddy $200, $100, $300 million a year to market their shit, they have investigators. So he don't bring back no bad name on the company. They had investigated him and they told him he already knew a lot of this shit was coming down. That's why they pay these people, bro. They got in touch with his publicist and some stuff like that. Yo, your boy don't look good. If he don't straighten this out, we might not have to pull back, call different people. Yo, you notice that he started talking about Cassie way before she came out with the lawsuit. And hit him with the lawsuit. With 2 other women or whatever like that. I don't know if he was with Kim, but he was with Young Miami and stuff like that, and gave her a shout out at the Grammys. You think he didn't know that? You didn't think he didn't know what's coming with the lawsuit? What was going down? 3 to 6 months before we even knew anything about it. So let me go get let me go get them their publishing back. It'll look like I'm doing something good, but I'm giving it back because I know that shit ain't gonna be worth nothing no way. You know, I flipped on him. I was like, yo, my man, you from Harlem. Don't you know these cats out here will tear your head down to the white meat? What's wrong with you? It's not sweet out here, bro. Then Mace said, yeah, I know. And he told me about the basketball game or something that he went to. And how they was telling him that they wanted Big and Puff, and he was all right, he was good. So Mace did not show up to the party the night Big got murdered. He said he was in the room with Brandy, right? I called Mace that morning, and me and Mace spoke, and then he was telling me all them bloods and everything that was out there. So I was with a couple of dudes that were from Black Hands, which is a part of the Black Guerrilla Mafia. You know what I mean? And we just went to the end of his hallway. He said there was a lot of bloods out there. And some dudes out there I wasn't recognizing. You know, I recognized, but I don't think it was, you know, he said it was like 70. When I got there, it wasn't that many blue dudes out there like that. But he could have seen 70, 17, 20, 30. When you think somebody trying to get you, and niggas is running the hallways because they know Bad Boy was staying there, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of dudes. So when I got there with my team and everything, dudes who came to the hospital with us, we was good. So all we had to do was put him in a cab or car service so he can go where he had to go. And that was it. To me, it wasn't nothing. You understand? But to somebody in fear of their life, I can understand where he coming from. You feel me? You know, I'm already, you know, we already lost Big. We on high alert. You understand? And now I got some dudes with me that's about it. That's what they do. You know, I was with Chaz Williams and a couple of his dudes from out there in Cali. You understand? That belong to the Guerrilla, I think it's the Black Guerrilla Mafia or family. And then I'm with Black Hands. And Chaz had a couple of his dudes. So I'm good. So we just made sure Mace was good.
Yeah, he said that she was the only one that came to get him. He said that, you know, everybody that he went to LA with, he ain't leave with, you know. He said that everybody else was looking out for themselves.
Well, Puff went to San Diego and they put him on a jet about 2 hours after Big died. You know what I mean? So Clarence Avant and what's his name? Clarence Avant and Andre Harrell made sure we did that. I was supposed to go on the plane with him, but I was like, nah, I ain't effing with you, bro. I'm out of here. So I went with the thing because we was gonna follow him that whole 120 miles. And he said, no, we ain't need all that. So I didn't understand that. So I just jumped in the car with Chaz and the other teams and we went back to the hotel and then got that call from Mace early and I called them and they came back over with me and we went on and did what we had to do.
But one thing that did caught my attention, because this story went viral, but I did notice a whole lot of big media outlets, when they was reporting about this story, they all was saying that Mace was lying.
Nah, Mace ain't, you know, they might, you gotta understand when you scared and you see, you know, a bunch of dudes, whether he said it was 70, 30, 20, 10, you in fear of your life. You understand? So when you in fear of your life
and then everybody that you come with ain't there no more and ain't picking up their phone, you're gonna you're gonna feel a certain way. I can understand where he's coming from. Or I can say I feel where he's coming from. But every time he called me, I picked up my phone. I'm gonna pick up my phone. Because all us should have been going back home. I gotta live with that.
You thought the Diddy drama was done. The streets are humming with anticipation for what is ahead for our followers, but we're just getting started. It's anyone's guess at this moment whether Mogul will rise to the surface like a rubber band or plummet to the bottom of the Chilean Ocean quicker than a lead weight due to the mounting litigation. The legal vultures are hovering, and you can bet they smell blood in the water. Here's the actual tea. Diddy may be giving up his expensive outfits for a courtroom uniform, and let's not even talk about his empire, which seems to be as solid as a Jenga tower after an earthquake. The industry is watching, and right now, they're not feeling very forgiving. Diddy's legacy is dangling by a thread thinner than a Fashion Week model. Will he end up as a music icon or just another CB who couldn't keep it together?